Tiffany with a little tip about your scrap rack. One of the things that happens with the scrap rack is they get so full, and some people can just add a second base because they have plenty of space in the room that they're in or the space that they're in, and they can just expand out their scrap rack system, and it's great and everything's available and at your fingertips and all that happy stuff, right? But some people don't have that kind of space to expand out their scrap rack, and they need more spinders. So this is a really easy solution, and it's fairly inexpensive. It's just these grid panels, right? They're available. You used to be able to buy them by the set at Target, but the place to get them is like storesupply.com, which looks like somewhere that only retailers can shop, but anybody can shop there. They're fairly inexpensive. You can buy the number of grid panels that you want. You build your cube and then add extra shelves in wherever you want them. So if you put a shelf just 2 cubes down, which is 2 inches, then you can take the spinders that you're not using. I can't see, so hang on a second. Let me rotate a little bit. You can take the spinders that you're not using and put them on to the shelf like this. And you can see I just put a little label tab on my spinder that this is fall. So you don't need to have your fall spinders on your scrap rack if you're working on summer photos or Easter photos or whatever it is. Maybe you're working on baseball, some other theme. You don't need those, right? That's a super specific category. So if you take those categories off your base unit and store them in a little lightweight shelving unit like this, that you can build, right? So this is 2 cubes. You could just build 1 cube or 2 cubes or 4 cubes or 6 or whatever you need to store those extra spinders on there. So here's a couple of tips. 1, when you build this, you want the rails on the grid to be smooth, right? So that when you're sliding things in, they're going to slide on those top rails. If you put it this way, I don't know if you can, it's hard to see, and you're trying to slide something in, this piece is on top of this piece, so there's a little bump right there, right? So you want to be able to slide things in. You can also, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get these clear acrylic sheets that fit inside the grid like that, right? So then it doesn't matter about the sliding factor because you've got this flat piece on there. I only use the clear acrylic sheets, again, available at storesupply.com. I only use the clear acrylic sheets for the bottom, where I'm going to show you what else you can fit in there. And I would put one on the top so that, because if you have something like this with grid and you set something on it, it's going to tip over, right? So in that case, you want to make sure that you have the grid tipped up so that it forms a little recessed area that clear acrylic is going to fit into. Okay, so put your grid so that you can slide your fingers without feeling the bumps as you're going to slide your spinders into the system. And make sure that you have it going the right side to put the acrylic in if you're going to use the clear acrylic, right? All of these things are available, the little round things that hook it together, the grid wall, and the clear acrylic, all at storesupply.com. I don't get any kickback from storesupply.com. I just think it's a great way to build a very inexpensive, easy, functional extra storage unit, especially if you're storing those extra spinders. But what else is going to fit? Well, the cubes are 14 by 14. So if you need a little bit of extra space for other things, like paper storage, right? You can definitely fit your paper storage boxes right into that cube as well. So think about this. Fall spinder with all your embellishments, fall paper storage box with all your fall papers, right? You don't need, these two things now are close together. If you're going to work on fall, you're going to pull this off the shelf, bring it to your workspace, you're going to pull this off the shelf, slap it down on your scrap rack. It's going to be so easy to get to everything that you need. What else can you fit down here? You can also fit down here something like our album storage box. I'm going to come around, put it in there, right? So this is why the acrylic is good on the shelf, because it makes it easy to slide those things in and out. The other thing, if you've listened to me at all, that I'm always talking about is maximizing your shelf space, right? So because you can completely tailor the distance, well, not completely, but it's in 1-inch gaps, the space between each shelf, if you're using something like our Edna bags to store ribbon, right? You can put the shelves as close together so that you're maximizing that space for that 3-inch ribbon. If you're using Edna to store things that are a little bit shorter, like glitters and glitter glues and that type of thing, they're going to slide right in there, right? You could shorten up the top shelf just to make it narrow enough to fit your smaller items. So the nice thing about this is you can just maximize that space left to right, top to bottom, and back to front really inexpensively. Oh, I didn't say, the shelves on the side are just zip tied in there, right? Also available at storesupply.com. They do sell zip ties if you don't have them and don't want to run to the hardware store. You can purchase zip ties right there on the website as well. So it's a perfect solution for extra spinders, right? You may have a dozen extra spinders and only a single scrap rack base. You can put those spinders on there, pull them off as you need. I know that we have crafters who have all of their spinders in a system like this, leave their base unit naked, and then whatever they're working on, they pull them off here and slap them down on that base. And that's an amazing thing, whether if you have a ton of stuff but not a lot of space for your scrap rack, or if you're going to go to an event, you just fold up your scrap rack, take the spinders that you need, throw those in your tote, and out the door you go. So it's a really simple way to maximize space and inexpensive too.